Alright, so today we are working on 4.3. Let's go ahead and look at our warm-up. Solve the equation. What is the first, gentlemen? Sean, you're not even turning paper in. I have no idea why. You're talking and you're not on this lesson. Solve the equation. We have 6x minus 4x plus 13 equals 27 minus 2x. What's the first thing we need to do?
Get the x's to one side.
Okay. We could get all the x's. There's one thing I want to do before that. Jackson?
6x and 4x.
Okay, we want to do our like terms first. Because we have like terms there, we're going to simplify. 6x minus 4x is 2x. Then I'm going to go and do what Caitlin said and put the like terms over, or put my x's on one side. So I'm going to put 2x over here. We have 4x plus 13 equals 27. Put our numbers on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 13 from each side. And how do I find x by itself now? How do I get the x by itself? Briggs? By what? Divide it by 4. When we get x equals 14 fourths, I'm going to write that up here. Then we have to simplify the fraction. We're going to divide each by 2 and get 7 over 2. That is your answer. Remember, we want to go ahead and leave things as our improper fractions. We're not having to go to the decimal. On number 2, plot the points. I'm going to go ahead and just do that for you. Remember, your first term is your x, which is your run. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is A. I'm going to go C. 0, negative 2. D is 4 and 2.2. So 4. And then 2.2 would just be a little bit higher. Oh. Get off there. 4 and 2.2. And then this one's a fraction, so we'd have to be using some number sense here. Negative 1/2, so halfway over. Let me work on my board. And 3/4 up, so we'd be somewhere in there. And that would be our B. Alright, so today's learning goal is I will translate an equation into a graph using intercepts. Okay, I do have these. They're cut out, they're green, they're pink. I'm going to give them to you later that we are going to fill out. We're going to do them on OneNote first. I'm going to give them to you later to fill out and put in our spiral notebook. I'll also put a link up on today's lesson with what my spiral notebook is looking like to make sure that we're all caught up. First part is we're going to say the x-intercept. So this is something important. I know my algebra kids are using this right now. The x-intercept is the point where the graph crosses the x-axis. Sean, you need to move, bud? Come over one second. I don't think you can be right next to it. So when I ask you about the x-intercept, remember, we're going to be picturing our graph like this. This is our x-axis. This is our y-axis. And when we say the x-intercept, it means where on this line are we crossing the x-axis? When I draw my line, where does it cross it? x-intercepts happen when the x is 0. Oh, nope, I lied. I did this last time. When the y coordinate is 0. To find the x-intercept from an equation, I want to make sure I'm saying this right. I don't have my notes in front of me. Good, I am. All right. From an equation, which is what we are going to look at today, replace the y with 0 and solve for x. So to find the x-intercept, here's what's going to happen. Here's my equation. I'm going to have y equals 2x plus 4. This is called our slope-intercept form. We're going to be learning and working with this a lot. But from here, if I need to find out where my x-intercept is, I'm going to replace y with 0. And the reason we do that is if I look at this graph over here, if I want this dot right here to cross the x-axis, it means it cannot go up and down. My y-coordinate had to be 0. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and say, here's my coordinates for my x-intercept. I know y is going to be 0 because I just made it 0. Now to find what my x-coordinate is, I have to solve this equation. 0 equals 2x plus 4. So I would subtract 4 from each side. And have negative 4 is 2x. We solve that by dividing by 2. And I'm left with negative 2 equals x. So negative 2 is my x-intercept. My line will cross the x-axis at point negative 2, 0. Redraw this little graph for you. So I know because of negative 2, 0, I'm going to cross right here. This is my x-intercept. Now, to find our y-intercept, it's going to be very similar. It's just kind of the opposite steps. Y-intercept is the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. Y-intercept happens when the x-coordinate is 0. Well, it makes sense. I don't want to move left or right from that y-axis, so it has to be 0. To find the y-intercept from an equation, replace x with 0 and solve for y. We're going to use our same equation because I'm trying to find the x and y intercept. So here I have y equals 2x plus 4. I'm using just the same equation, just it was an example equation. And this time I'm going to make my x equals 0. So I still have y equals 2 times 0 plus 4. When we solve for this, 2 times 0 is first. And then 0 plus 4, we get y equals 4. So our coordinate for our y-intercept, we knew that the x was 0 because that's what we set it to. And then when we solved the equation, we found that y equaled 4. I'm going to go to my graph, and I'm going to go 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. This was my y-intercept. I'm going to give you guys a little preview of something that we'll talk about later. But you see this equation that we wrote, y equals 2x plus 4. And I told you that's the y, or the slope-intercept form. Did you notice that this number was also our y-intercept? That's why we were in slope-intercept form. You're going to see that when we do that in this slope-intercept form, this plus 4, whatever whole number we put there, we'll end up calling it point B later when we do our equations. We'll call it B. That's always going to be your y-intercept. Right away, you have to do no work for it. Given the graph, find the x and y-intercept. So here's what I want you to do right now. I'm going to do number 1, and then I'm going to have you do number 2. I'm going to write out x-intercept, y-intercept. Okay? I'm going to say the x-intercept's where it crosses the x-axis. It's right here. The y-intercept is the y. So I have to write its coordinates down. Well, when I have the x-intercept, I always know my y-intercept is, or my y-coordinate is 0. Because we do not go up. But I look at this one, and it is 1, 2, 3. X-intercept was 3, 0. Y-intercept, well, I know it's not moving from the x, so x was 0. And I go down 1, 2. Go ahead and do number 2 on your own, and I'm going to check to see what did you get for your answer. So, find the x-intercept and the y-intercept for me. Should only take a few seconds. What are the coordinates for the x-intercept and the y-intercept? Okay, who found the x-intercept? Cool. What'd you get?
2, -2.
What's the coordinates?
-2, 0.
So we look. I have to zoom in a little. Here's my x-intercept. Correct. It's at -2. Right there. And it goes up 0. So -2, 0. Okay, what's the y-intercept?
0, 1.
We know it's 0. And looks like we had to look at how they're going up. It would have been 0, 1. Remember, anytime I ask for the x-intercept, your y-coordinate is 0. If I ask for the y-intercept, your x-coordinate is 0. Given the equations, find the x and y-intercept. How are we going to do each one of these? How do I find the x and y-intercept from the equation? What do I have to do to find my x-intercept? Brianna?
Have y equals 0.
Good. So I'm going to go my coordinates, and I'm going to say y is 0. So now I'm going to rewrite this equation. 0 equals 2x plus 4. And I'm going to solve for it. I'm going to minus 4. -4 equals 2x. Divide by 2. X equals -2. There's my x coordinate. I go to do my y coordinate. How am I going to find my y-intercept? Aiden?
Make x 0.
Okay, so I'm going to make x 0 in this case. Rewrite my equation. Y equals 2 times 0 plus 4. We get 0 plus 4. Y equals 4. Okay, I'm going to pause this, and I want you to turn. We'll get the neighbor. I'm going to give you a minute or two to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept for number 4 and 5. Okay, so to solve this, making sure you can do this because this is what you are doing for your assignment today. They had 3x minus 4y equals 24. To find my x-intercept, I'm using the coordinates x and y. To find x-intercept, I know my y-coordinate is 0. So when I rewrote the equation, I'm putting y as 0, which is what I did right. Here's my y. Now y is 0 because of right here. I made it a 0. If I solve the problem now, I would have negative 4 times 0. So I'd have 3x, and negative 4 times 0 is 0. I have to do nothing. And it equals 24. I'm going to divide 3x by 3. And we find that x equals 8. So my x-intercept is 8, 0.
I got that.
We go to our y-intercept. I'm going to make my x-coordinate 0. We know on y, we know when we have a y-intercept, our x-coordinate is always 0. So this time I'm making that x 0. So I'd say 3 times 0 minus 4y equals 24. That becomes 0. I have negative 4y equals 24. I'm going to divide by negative 4. Y equals negative 6. And then that becomes our coordinate. Y-intercept is at 0, negative 6. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next. I'm not going to look at this problem. I will record and add this. I'll do another little recording and add the couple problems that we're not going to get to. But I want to make sure we can do this part. On here, given the intercept, graph the line. If I know my x-intercept is negative 7, that tells me my coordinate is negative 7, 0. So I'm going to go, here's 2, 4, 6, 8. It's right here. That is my x-intercept. I look for my y-intercept. It is 0, 4. It told me on the y-intercept I cross at 4. That's right here. Now I graph the line. It's just connecting the dots. I use the line tool. Let's see if it works. And that's all you had to do. Even if I didn't list the coordinates, my x-intercept is at 10. So I'm on my x-axis and I cross it at 10. My y-intercept's at negative 1. Right here. I go ahead and I will now connect the two dots. Okay. Biggest thing to take away from today is x-intercept crosses the line there and your y is equal to 0. Y-intercept is crossing your y-axis and so your x is 0. Make sure you can do this problem. That's why I'm going to do a second recording after class and walk through this one as well and the other problem because I know you have to do this for today's assignment. So Your assignment today is worksheet 4.3. I have it. It is also right here if you do it on OneNote. But you do not have to do numbers 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 31, and 33. So we cut this down quite a bit. So we still have 2 sides to it, but we cut it down quite a bit. I expect everyone to have this done by Monday. If you have any questions, please come to me in Life Ed today.